Channel 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
That's a nicer angle, too. You can see the screen clear, more clear.
Yeah. Better angle. The whole table.
Yep, whole thing.
Got the logo on them.
All right, guys, welcome. It is Friday night. This is Detect America Live. Let me stop that. All right, beautiful. Yep, this is Detect America Live. We are back from our trip. And with us tonight, we have Drew Hollick.
Hey.
We have Joe DeMarco.
Hey.
And Gene Hogan.
Yo.
And we can go to... Hold on, just trying to bring up pretty pictures.
Pretty pictures.
And we'll do...
I feel pretty.
Skype.
So
Okay.
pretty.
I'm putting the Skype logo up, guys. This has been a long time coming, and I've been threatening for a long time about doing the video. Been playing with the pinpointers for a while, getting ticked off, happy, sad. So you know what? The easiest way to do it is we've all been using these things. We're going to go live. We're going to do some testing. We're going to tell you what the best bang for your buck is, the good, the bad, the ugly about the top-selling pinpointers out there. And the response has been ridiculous. Oh, you know what?
Ridiculous.
I was supposed to, Evan. If you're listening, but I forgot to send you a heads up. So call in. Evan was supposed to come on with us tonight, and I forgot to remind him.
I can call him.
Yeah, see if he's by his computer. See if he remembered.
Give him a call.
And by all means, when we get into the pinpoint debate, we want the phone calls. You guys have been. I hear guys every single day bitching and moaning about what you do like, what you don't like about the pinpointers. In talking with Evan, I know for a fact that a minimum of 3 honchos in the manufacturing world are tuned in tonight and listening to what you have to say. So by all means, when we get into this, call us and tell us what you like, what you don't like about them. Don't call up and say, Joe Blow pinpointer is horrible. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you would change, what you want in the pinpointer, and why you like and use the one that you use. And we're going to discuss it tonight, and we're going to run these in front of you through their paces a little bit, basic testing, and show you what we like about them and what we don't like about them.
And this isn't a bash test.
Exactly. This isn't a bash. I'm going to tell you straight up. Straight up, there are pinpointers here from $19 to $170 roughly. Every single one of these pinpointers has its high spots, has its good points, and every single one of them has design flaws and things that could be improved on them. So just don't call up and tell me how much you like your pinpointer because all the rest of them stink, because it's just not the case, guys. We've used every single one of these, and we have our favorites, and we'll tell you why, and we want to know why you have your favorites and your not-so-favorites. That being said, we are back from Idaho. We are back from 72,000 hours of driving across country. And I know every bodily noise Drew has to make at this point in time. But
That's what you think.
well, let me just say, first and foremost, I want to thank the guys out west, Brandon, TJ's family, the guys from the Dirt Fishing for having us out there.
Ryan,
I don't know Ryan's last name, but Ryan, we had a good time out there. We saw the jaw-dropping views. I think I still have the whiteness on my knuckles from gripping the steering wheel when they had us at 9,000 feet on a mountainside.
yeah, going Silver City.
And let me just tell you, again, the cows in New Jersey are spoiled rotten because the cows in Idaho have to climb mountains to get their food. And we saw cows climbing straight up the side of a mountain. That image is burned in my memory forever. That this cow literally jumped out of the road and climbed straight up the hillside.
And I still think cows are creepy weirdos.
Yeah, none of them like Drew at all. We pull in the driveway, the cows are all going, Drew. But we had a good time. We dug some really cool places. We ran a few experiments with radar and some privy stuff. And some bottles came out, and some eagle buttons came out of the ground. I got lucky enough to pull a couple pieces of silver. I think I pulled 4 pieces of silver this trip.
Nice.
And an 1802 large cent, and a musket hammer, which as near as we can figure looks like a brown best hammer. What's left of a brown best hammer?
I haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't. I got to chip it away.
So
I just got to soak it
from me.
I got to soak it because I got to be very delicate in taking the magnetite off it because I have a tendency getting excited and snapping stuff in half.
Oops.
But yeah, so that was our buddy Jim Bertolazio. We stopped on our way out. We stopped in Pennsylvania, saw Jim, and put us on a couple of really cool places.
And then Steve Zimmerman in Ohio.
And Steve Zimmerman put us on the place that nobody should be allowed to dig. It was so beautiful, and manicured, and the owner was way cool. And actually going through my junk, stuff that was in my junk pile tonight, my son was actually digging through it. And what we thought was a chipped off nail head was actually a Masonic pin, lapel pin. It looks like. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to zap that. I'm going to cook it, and I'm going to send that. Once I get enough pictures of it, I'm going to send that back to the owner, who was nice enough to put us on his property. It was a Masonic headquarters at one time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bank. It was a town founder.
Wow.
So we had a good time. We stopped and saw a few more people on the way out. Chris Detbarn came out to stop us all and donated a digger to DA Kids, and we did some digging. So over the course of the next couple of days, guys, because I really just caught up on sleep, and
I haven't even cleaned my finds yet.
No,
they're in a bag.
We've got 1,000 pictures. I've got a little string of video for me and Drew digging in Ohio, and I'm going to put that together. I'm going to put that out on the page, and catch everybody up on what it was like out there because it was pretty damn cool.
And all I'm going to say, and this is where I'm leaving it. Don't ask any questions. Don't eat gas station sushi.
Woo! Don't eat gas station sushi by any means. And we won't answer any questions regarding that subject. Okay, you know who you are. So before we get into the topic of the Pinpointer Showdown, I am elated. I'm so happy and very upset. We have several new members recently to come on from foreign countries. We have a member that came on from a Spanish-speaking country, I think. And it only took me a day and a half through the translator to figure out what he was asking me. But ultimately, and we've discussed it on the page before, and he's relatively new to the page. Ultimately, he was cleaning a copper Spanish coin, which I do not know what it was, an old one, and put it in ultra-hot peroxide.
Oh, no.
And it exploded. And he wanted to know why. We discussed this, and I told you, it doesn't happen a lot, guys. It doesn't happen a lot. But it can happen. So real quick, and please, if you're listening, have a translator, because I can't speak to you in Spanish. But as these coins get old, they start to separate. You've seen them all. You've dug those old King Georges. You've dug those old large cents and those colonial coppers, where when you look at them from the side, they kind of look like they're splitting. And if you ever put peroxide on a cut, you see it start to foam, and it foams and it expands very, very quickly. Well, when you get biologic material inside those little cuts and those little fractures of those old coins, and it comes in contact with hot peroxide, which is going to expand at 10 times faster than cold peroxide, occasionally that peroxide gets deep enough into that coin, it will expand so fast that it will explode. It will destroy the coin. We've done it. I won't say we've done it 1,000 times. We've done it a couple dozen times at the college when we were messing around with coin cleaning stuff. But this gentleman on our page actually got a sliver in his arm. A little sliver in his arm. That's how fast, that's how harshly these things can pop. And the coin is literally in 30 pieces. So just an example of why we don't use certain chemicals, certain kinds of wives' tales that are out there to clean these coins. That this is the reason. It's a rare occasion, but this is an example of what can happen. The peroxide expands too fast, gets too far into the fractures of a coin, and literally blows it apart. So hopefully I get through. I try to write that answer up and have it translated over Whether or not I actually told him something understandable, I'm not sure. But that's why your copper coin exploded. And honestly, if you have to use the peroxide, if you don't see why we tell you not to, wear safety goggles, guys, because it can happen to you. And that's validation, vindication. I want to make sure people understand that this can happen. It doesn't happen often. It's very rare, but it can happen and it can hurt you.
And it can happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Okay, so we got a couple of giveaways tonight. Woo! And Norton wants me to update my software.
Eventually.
Okay, so the topic tonight, guys, is your favorite pinpointer. And if you have a problem with a pinpointer, if you want manufacturers to hear, and I'm not gonna say who they are, but I know 3 people who represent the manufacturers of these pinpointers in front of you who are absolutely positively listening tonight. They were contacted personally by myself and by someone else, and they want to hear what you have to say. So if you're willing to bitch and moan about your problems with your pinpointer on the page, call us up tonight and bitch and moan about us live on the air. These guys want to hear from it. This is where change takes place, guys. This is where these people hear what you have to say and want to listen. These are people that represent the manufacturers of a product you use. Okay, so if there's going to be changes made to make you happier, this is where it's going to happen. They're going to hear what you have to say tonight. So we're not going to have a bash fest. We're not going to destroy, one pinpointer over another. Every pinpointer has its good points. Every pinpointer has its bad points. We're going to discuss the ones that we use and discuss their shortcomings and their high points. But we got a call.
All right, caller, you're live on the air.
Okay, Jim, this is Sean Showwater calling.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, pretty good. I got a problem with my Garrett pinpointer. It falses all the time on me, and I'm following your tips that you guys put on the page, not pressing too hard on the tip or trying to dig with it, but I'll have it in my hand after I get the hole opened up and get whatever I'm trying to get out, and it'll just start beeping like crazy. And once in a while, it'll even just shut off right in my hand. And I've changed the battery several times, and it still does it.
Okay. I can answer that.
Go ahead, Joe.
What we're finding are a couple of things. There's a little foam piece in the back. A lot of people end up either losing that or it compresses. Because batteries, even though it may be a 9-volt, all 9 volts are supposed to be the same size. They're not. Yeah. Some are a little smaller, and it leaves it room to make contact, not make contact. That could be why it's shutting off. But also your issue with the constantly going off, I've seen where people have taken them apart and pulled the tube out of it. There's a small wire that runs up inside.
Coil.
If you take that and you're banging on the tip of it, you're wearing that into the wire, and then that wire becomes exposed, and then that becomes an issue.
Now, Sean, I have one of the tests that we're going to do tonight. I'll show you. I have a nearly new Garrett in here. It's out of the box. It's been in my holster. Really hasn't been used too much, and I'll show you how you can make this thing false when they're brand new, and what happens if you damage that interior. Once it's damaged, you may be at the point where it has to have a repair done to it, but I'll show you how you can make them, why they false and how they false live in a few minutes.
Okay, well, I sent it back into Garrett about a week ago, and they just got it on Tuesday, so I'm guessing it'll be another week till I get it back. But other than that, I really like all the Garrett products.
Yeah, and their customer service is awesome.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I talked to Rusty earlier in the week because I had a customer with an AT Pro problem, and it's on its way, and he's going to call me when it arrives, and we'll go from there with what they find the issue. But for customer service, most of the manufacturers have gotten much better, regardless of what manufacturer it is. Some of them have laxed a little, but most
even some of the real bad ones.
are getting better.
Are getting better. By a lot, absolutely.
Because they see the value of that consumer
Yeah.
who's buying their product and may want to purchase their products in the future. So they want to make sure that you feel comfortable buying their product due to their customer service.
And I spoke with let's just say a VP of one of the major companies out there. We speak somewhat regularly. He's a fan of the show. He's a fan of the page, and said that they are paying more attention to customer service simply because one of the number one positive remarks is people calling up on a regular basis and talking about how great Garrett's customer service is, and that's making other metal detecting companies step up their customer service because it's such an important thing to the customers that are out there. You know, I guess it's real easy to become a bigger company to forget that little thing. You put a lot of attention and detail into your product and forget that. You know, listen, I know I'm one of the guys. I'll go to a lesser product if I get ticked off by how I'm treated by somebody. So yeah, it makes a big difference, and they're definitely paying attention to it.
Yeah, I've had problems with their products before, and they sent me a brand new coil before I even had mine boxed up. They said, just go ahead and put the old one in the box. They paid for the shipping and handling. I sat it right back, and I had a brand new coil within a week.
And for anybody out there, and just so happens, we're not picking Garrett out for any particular reason other than we have a lot of Garrett users on the page. And if you have a problem and you need the form on the front page of the homepage of detect-america.com is the actual form. You can download the form and print it out. Call Garrett. They'll give you the number, send it out, and they'll go from there for you. You know what? And as over the winter months, we kind of pay more attention to detailing up the page, and I'll try and get some of the other forms for some of the other companies up there just to put them at your fingertips. I know like Joe's shop, he's always got that kind of stuff. But if you're not in arm's reach of your local dealer, you might be able to get some of this stuff off our page.
Yeah, well, I got to give Rusty a shout out. A couple of months ago, or a month and a half ago, I had a cracked coil, and he had the brand new one to my house, and I shipped the old one to him, and I had it within a week, and he was really good about that.
Yeah, fantastic, man, and that's what it's all about. And that, you know what, that's big sales. That's going to make a return customer. Just treating your customer nice and being, listen, every day you're without that machine, it stinks. You know it. So the fact that they're willing to turn around and do a quick turnaround for their customers is awesome.
I was going to say, let me add to that, because it's also the customer's responsibility to make sure they register that detector or whatever they purchase.
Right.
Because that's what's going to save you in the long run, is they have that on file that you registered it on such and such date, you bought it. So let's just say a week down the road, a month down the road, something happens. You can go back to them and say, hey, it is registered. It's only a month old.
Right.
And they'll pull it up and they'll say, yeah, we see you registered on such and such. We've got that on the way.
Now, some of the metal detecting companies out there, guys, they go by the numbers that's on there. I know I particularly have a machine that I did not register, and I had an issue with it. And I'll go straight up, because it's with a company that in the past has not necessarily been known for ultra speedy customer service. But I'm going to hand it out to Minelab that I broke a coil. And it was on a machine that, before I even met Joe, it was a machine that I had gotten from another company from overseas, actually. And they took the number, and I had shipped it out and a new coil in my hands in 7 days. And that was fantastic. So my hat's off to them, because I know in the past, Minelab gets jammed up, and it's not always that fast coming back. But they were spot on with it, and I had a new coil in my hand in a week.
Well, I can tell you that's one of the things that as a dealer we were pushing, because we were hearing a lot of complaints about customer service. Service. It was running, 20 days. I think right now it runs maybe 5 to 7 days.
Yeah, the best product in the world is no good to you if it's downtime, if it's out of your hands.
Right.
And the faster that they get, so I was doing cartwheels. I was so happy. So my hat's off to Minelab. I've had Garrett pinpointers out and back in well under 10 days. So yeah, it's definitely getting better out there.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks. I don't want to hold up the line. So
all right.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, so you got to look at too. They're going to start competing against each other too. So that's going to, it's a lot of competition.
Well, you know what? We are
money too.
That's what it's about. It is what it is. the competition between the companies is always going to benefit the customer.
Right.
And
Got another
and better
call coming
product, hopefully.
Yeah. It's
in. Caller, welcome. You're live.
Yes, this is Mark Healy, and I have the Pro Pointer also, and I'm also having falsing issues. The first time it went bad, I took it back to the dealer that I bought it from, and he just replaced it for me. And then since then, I've sent it back twice. The second time, the customer service was not so great. I was pretty much told I was being too picky, and that upset me. So I asked them then, okay, can I just get a refund? Because, I mean, I've only had the thing 9 months altogether, all three.
Right.
And she said, no, we don't give refunds. I said, well, what can you do to give me a product that I can use? And she said, well, just send it back and we'll fix it. And I was like, well, I've already done that twice. And she said, well, sir, maybe you're being too picky. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
But what can Garrett do? I mean, and there's obviously some type of problem with what's with the wiring or whatever. Because I borrowed a buddy of mine, and he's had his for like 5 years, never had a problem with it. And I used it, and it was fabulous. And then, and the ones that I've gotten, as long as they work fantastic. But it's when you start having the problems, and you'll turn it on, and it'll start beeping, real slow, and then it'll just get real intense, and then just shut off.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? Well, since we're going to be going into each one of these, we'll start off with Garrett. So if as for the customer service, I can't speak for whoever talked to you that day, but I know everybody has their bad moments, and I've had a few of them myself with even the best of the companies. So the best thing is,
That's brand new.
go and if you have to, you go over somebody's head. Customer service is just that. It's supposed to be customer service. You don't want to be talked to, in a crappy manner. You don't want to be dismissed for being too picky. You paid for a product. So you do what you have to do to get yourself the satisfaction that you deserve. And if it means going over, even if it's a company you love and have nothing but respect for, have nothing but had good experience with, if you have that bad experience, I'm sure the people above that person don't want that to happen again either. So go above their head if you have to. Talk to somebody else. And they don't want unhappy people.
And another thing that's displeasing, and it's probably a have-to kind of thing, is I'm out my own pocket for sending this thing back.
Sure.
And then you get it back, and it's still not right. So then you got to send it back again, and you're out. It gets to the point where $130 pinpointers now cost you $160.
Sure, for the shipping, absolutely.
So I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one with the frustration. And like I said, I'm not slamming Garrett, because the one that my buddy has, I would give him $130 for it right now, and it's 5 years old.
Well, I think one of the things too is when things are mass produced, you can go to Walmart and you can buy a brand new DVD player, take it home, plug it into your television, and it doesn't work. Take it back to the store, they give you another one, and you take it home, you plug it in, and it doesn't work. And I understand that gets frustrating. I would be frustrated beyond belief with that. But like Frank said, if you're not happy with something, you got to call and let them know that you're not happy.
That's right. You know what else, Mark? Dude, after the second or third time that this had to happen, and you're out of your pocket for shipping each time, listen, you know what? You won't get that satisfaction until you ask. And I would absolutely be asking somebody, okay, I bought a brand new pinpointer. It didn't work. You guys are absolutely honoring your warranty, but I'm now 2 or 3 times paying for the shipping. And see if they would do something for you. It's not going to hurt you to ask, and if you bring it to somebody's attention, you might get that satisfaction on getting your shipping back on that as well.
Right, and I waited for this particular show before, because I got to send this one back.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go through showing you some of the problems that they're having with that one. We're going to show you some of the problems they're having with the big one, all the big ones, but Garrett in particular, because Garrett right now seems to be one of the most popular ones out there being used. So just stay tuned in, and I'll show you what's going on, and you can verify whether or not this is the same thing that's happening with yours or not.
Okay, and I appreciate you giving us the chance to voice this. That's a really great thing to do.
Oh, no, absolutely. That's what it's about.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, got. All right, so when I first started using pinpointers, believe it or not, my first pinpointer ever was a Home Depot nail finder. That I used to dig out my hole and I'd run the stud finder through the dirt until it rang. So
You know, somebody posed the question on the chat too. Why do you even need a pinpointer?
You really don't.
It helps with the recovery. It does. It speeds up your recovery quite a bit.
And we talked about it on the show before. Some of these machines that have gotten so much better and have gone to the butterfly or the double D coil. The double D coil is notorious for not pinpointing as well as the older concentric coils. So this is definitely going to shave some time off of your recovery.
Yeah, but also when you're in a deep hole.
Oh yeah, baby.
You know,
a lot.
you off by a little bit, and using your pinpointer in there saves you a lot of trouble.
A lot of trouble. All right, so this is, and I'll be honest with you, this is probably the pinpointer that I use the most. This is the Garrett Pro Pointer, and yeah, turn it on once it sets. Works beautiful. Now I'm going to show you something. That's my ring. You guys can hear it or not. I'm just bending it. Just a little bit. Now, one of the things that Garrett did when they designed this pinpointer was they have a nice, big, oversized button. And it's great because if you're tunnel visioned in your hole and you're pulling your pinpointer blind out of your holster, it's nice. You can feel that sucker, put your thumb right on that button. And I love the pinpointer. My first few times using the Garrett pinpointer, I think I went through 2 or 3 of them. Okay, because what happened was, guys, I was digging. Turn your pinpointer on, and you get into that hole, and I started gouging that hole, and as I'm pressing on the sidewall, I'm starting to make it false. And what happens is that wire gets frayed, that motherboard gets cracked, and once that happens, you don't have to bend it anymore. It's going to false all the time. You send it back, you get it fixed, you start jamming in that hole again, it's going to do the same thing. Because even though they're fixing it exactly how it was when you bought it. And if you're doing the same thing, you're going to cause the same problem again.
Break it.
When I was finally sat down and told, don't dig, it's not a shovel. And I stopped digging with it. I literally just gently moving the dirt around, snow plowing with it, and I'm going into my 2nd year with the Garrett. I have had no problems with it ever since. Be gentle with the Garrett. Be gentle with it. Don't dig with it. It's a pinpointer. It's not a probe. It's not a shovel. If you put pressure on that long axis, it's going to start to bend at that trigger hole, and that's where it starts to fray that coil wire, crack that little motherboard, all kinds of, put the whole chassis out of shape, so where maybe that battery's not sitting tight. Any number of little things that can go wrong with it, and then you have to get it fixed. And if you don't change your habits of digging in the dirt with this thing, it's going to do the same thing over and over and over again. If you are gentle with it, if you are doing nothing but searching for the coin, gently rubbing it through the dirt like you're supposed to do, you're not going to have an issue with it. It's not going to crack on you. It's not going to fray on you. And like I said, 2 years, same one now.
Well,
I've run over one.
I was going to say, part of what they tell you, though, is that that edge up here is a scraper.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that for snowplow.
You can use it to move dirt around,
right.
But you can't get in a hole and try to scrape with it.
When they say scrape, I think they mean you're scraping the top of the dirt like this. You're not scraping the inside of the hole, trying to dig the coin out.
And
great idea for a pinpointer company. Let's make a combination pinpointer shovel.
But you also have to bear in mind too, as well. It is a tool. Okay, it is a tool for your hobby, and just like any mechanic, you have to take care of your tools. If you don't take care of your tools,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble. Exactly. I mean, you have to respect your tool. You can't go, and let's just put out there too. It's VLF.
It's a VLF. It's VLF. It's not a BFO or a pulse induction. I have one in my bag. I still use one in my bag. I ran over it with my truck guys in the mud.
I've lost mine on the beach and refound it.
And how many times I've gone in? I used to have it strapped to the lower shaft of my metal detector, and the CTX 3030 is an underwater detector, and I had forgotten and taken it in the beach, and it still works. What caused it not to work for me was trying to dig in the hole with it. And once I stopped digging the hole with it, the Garrett Pro Pointer was aces. Never had another issue with it. But like I said, like with every other one of these pinpointers, in my opinion, my humble opinion, that's a design flaw. Because if the trigger hole was smaller, the ability to bend, to flex at that point wouldn't be there. Or at least it wouldn't be there as much.
All right, if you want to go that route, there is another flaw.
Okay, go ahead.
It's
because there's flaws with everything we got in that box right now. Let me tell you guys.
The design, the way that it's molded, it's one piece, and then the tip is another piece.
Right.
Which allows it to flex.
Right. Sure. It's not as rigid. Absolutely.
But that's, hey, Garrett came out with a pinpointer that everybody loves.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about
it. And you're seeing so many more pinpointers come to the market now that are copies of
basically that design.
The design.
I'm not gonna knock any brand by any means. I'm only familiar with 2 brands, but that is the brand. That is the one that I use.
I use the same thing. I have 2 of them.
Right.
I love both of them.
We now have Evan with us.
Hey, Evan. I forgot to call you, bud.
I'm gonna put Evan on the big screen. You all right with that, Evan?
Don't do that.
Okay, I won't do that. You said don't do that, so I won't.
All right, Evan. We're talking about the pinpointers, and it was one of the guys on the page pointed out that the problem with the Garrett falsing. And I told, I pointed out that if you bend it, if you dig with it, you can fracture, you can fray wires, you can fracture the motherboard, you can cause this falsing and have it in need of repair. It's still one of my favorite pinpointers. What's your feeling on the Pro Pointer?
Well, I mean, when the Pro Pointer first came out, I mean, it was definitely a step in the right direction. I mean, Garrett made a very good product. I think over the years, they've used different different parts and stuff, and it may have cost the some of the issues that they have now. I posted on Facebook in the Second America that I did relay that information to Garrett, and they were very interested in what people had to say and are looking into it. So I'm assuming that here very, very quick, very soon we're going to hear, some positive feedback from Garrett, possibly something, some changes. As far as anything new, I don't know, but that's definitely going to be something that they're looking into.
And let's go on record here, guys. Too remember, we are not too far into, time-wise, this generation of pinpointers. It's still relevant. I mean, you have companies like Weiss that are 2 or 3 generations into it. But this type of design is relatively new, and we're really not even into the changes yet. I mean, anybody who's putting out a decent product is definitely going to learn from their customer base, and if they want to stay in the game, they're going to make changes to it. And like I said, for everything, just to justify what we said, for everything that we've said about the Garrett Pro Pointer, it's probably the one that I use the most.
Right. I mean, when I first got, there's some other pinpointers out there. I mean, my first pinpointer was the White's Bullseye 2. I think everybody that's been detecting longer than 10 years has probably had one. And when they first come out, that was the thing to have. I mean, if you're into using a pinpointer, a lot of people say, I've never used a pinpointer, never will. Well, that's if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you want to minimize, the time that you're spending looking for a target, if you want a quick recovery, a pinpointer's thing to have. Well, the Bullseye 2 was something I'd never seen, something that the industry had never saw, and it was a step in the right direction. And then when the Garrett Pro Pointer come out, when they first come out, they were, you couldn't break them. I had one for, 4 or 5 years. Well, I was older than that, probably 6 years, and it never falls, never had a problem. Finally, the tip just wore completely out. The plastic had wore them out. So,
but to speak fairly, you were probably using it the right way too. You probably weren't gouging your holes out with your Pro Pointer either, right? You're being gentle with it.
Well, I'm pretty rough on my equipment, and it's nothing for me to have to turn something in every 6 months because I don't have a lot of time to hunt, and I try to hurry
I'm not going to say I'm going to leave a mess or leave a hole uncovered, but I try not to waste any time. And yeah, I probably done a little scraping and a little gouging with it. And I've dropped it in the parking lot before, and even my son put mine in our industrial strength dishwasher one night and turned it on, and we kept hearing this. Well, it sounded like a bobcat was fighting inside that dishwasher. I opened it up, and it looked like it'd been through a meat cleaver, and of course, Garrett, the way they are, I sent it to them, and then they fixed it. So, I mean, Garrett's customer service, is hard to beat. I mean, there's a few companies out there that are like Garrett, and that's one of their number one things is their customer service.
Yeah, their customer service is aces. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. I mean, even overseas customers that for Garrett that I've talked to, I mean, they're not mine, but I mean, I've actually talked to people over there that have a question about the AT, and they wanted to ask me. They said, well, I sent mine, and I even talked to Sue, and she took care of it. And I was like, that's awesome. There's not many companies that'll do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I haven't dealt with them too much, but because I don't own one of their machines, but from what I understand, White's has good customer service as well.
They do.
Yep.
They do. They're White's and Garrett is tops in my book. Had an issue with I want to say it was a DFX, and I was a second owner on it. Called them and told them about it, and they took care of it for me.
Well, let me tell you a quick story with White's and their customer service. I took some kids out for University of Pennsylvania digging, and of course, there were a couple of kids that weren't prepared, wanted to dig, didn't have machines, so I lent this young lady my MXT. My MXT, which was exactly about 3.5 weeks old. And when she was done, she leaned it up against the back quarter panel of my pickup.
Oh, no.
And I backed up and ran over it. Oops. Ran over it. No questions asked. We pretty much don't get more abusive than running over your MXT. And I went to the dealer who had sold it to me at that time, and he said, listen, all I can tell you is let's box it up and send it back. And within 3 weeks, I had a repaired MXT, and it's on my wall right now. So no questions asked. It didn't cost me anything, and I've got my MXT still. So kudos to White's customer service. Absolutely.
Right. And their new TRX, I've not got anything bad to say about it.
All right. Well, since you brought it up, we'll go to the TRX because here's the thing with TRX with me. It's one of my favorites, and it's been a boomerang more than once where I tossed it across the field. Now you probably know why. Okay, but we'll talk about the TRX. First off, right off the bat, okay, it is by far and away the deepest penetrating pinpointer I've ever had in my hand. This thing it's notchable. You can back off the depth of it, but it's unbelievably deep penetrating pinpointer. Now, I only really have one issue with the TRX, guys, and we're talking about it with the Garrett, is that I like, if it's not in the hole, then my target is probably in the pile of dirt outside the hole. And I like to snowplow across the top of that dirt and pinpoint my target.
Yeah.
Now, White's design flaw. Here's the design flaw, guys. There is easily a 2-inch section of the shaft that is dead. There's no sensitivity in the center part of the shaft. So more than one time on a silver dime or a small target where I'm snowplowing, where I know I got it out of the hole and I can't find it, and then it'll chirp, and I'll go to look for it, and I can't find it, and I picked it up by shaft, and I tossed it across the field, and then I went and got it again. If you understand that this is a pinpointer, a tip-only pinpointer, if you are vertically pinpointing in your hole, vertically pinpointing in your pile of dirt, it is absolutely super sensitive for those targets that may be running deep It's awesome for locating if it's out of reach of your other pinpointer or it's not in the hole that you've dug. It's great for pinpointing a target that may be deeper than your hole is. But Evan, explain to me that 2-inch dead spot because it drives me crazy.
Well, there's really no, I don't have an explanation for it. And really there's, you call it a design flaw, and I really don't think that it's a design flaw. If you think of a coil, a round coil, and you get a target that's above ground, and like on a double D coil, when it's the magnetic field on that coil, it actually wraps around the outside of the coil, and it picks up, stuff off to the side, especially if it's on top.
Right.
Well, maybe Watts did not want, the side to pick up. I mean, there's some people that don't like detection all the way down the shaft of the pinpointer.
Right.
And, it may not be a flaw. It may be, designed to be like that.
No, absolutely. And I agree with you because I've heard some of the people from White say that's how they designed it. For me, being spoiled with the only pinpointers that I ever used, it's a design flaw to me personally, simply because I'm used to snow plowing over a pile of dirt. I get what you're saying, and I believe it or not, you'll find me out in the field with either a pro pointer or a pro find in my holster, and then a second holster on my belt with the damn TRX because I like the depth so much. My problem is that it's hot at the tip. It's hot at the upper portion of the shaft, and then it's dead in the middle. And for somebody, maybe I'm not supposed to be snow plowing with it, but because I do, it drives me a little crazy. That's all. But I still use the darn thing because it's so sensitive and deep.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Can you adjust the sensitivity on it?
Yes,
absolutely.
It has now. If you adjust the sensitivity on it, does that also adjust the dead spot in the shaft?
No, it only all the sensitivity will reduce its EMF, its ancillary EMF. It'll reduce the sensitivity to the hole. At full sensitivity, I've hit silver targets probably 4 inches or better. It'll chirp below the bottom of the hole. I mean, you want to see how powerful? Put it up against your pickup truck, and that thing will take from 1.5 feet away. Right. It's a very, very sensitive machine.
See, that's the thing. A lot of people, I've had a lot of customers.
Virus database has been updated.
I had an update there. I've had a lot of people call me and say, man, this thing just goes off on everything. I said, well, have you turned it down? Well, no.
Well, that's just it, right.
Yeah, that's that. And I'll say, well, here, watch this video. It shows you how to turn it down and everything. And they're like, oh, man, this made all the difference. I mean, personally, I hunt with it on 3, sometimes 2, depending on where I'm at. But most of the time it's 3. And it's,
And that's just it. Like, I'll leave her cranked all the way up. And if I'm not locating it in the hole with one of my other pinpointers, then this thing comes out of my reserve pouch, and I'll stick it in the hole just to give me a kind of a direction of where I'm missing it in the hole, because I do get so much more depth out of it. So, and like I said, I call it a design flaw. If it was truly a design flaw, I probably wouldn't still have it in my pouch. But I do love this. I do love this pinpointer. It's almost a different tool for me. It's almost not a pinpointer anymore. I break it out for those targets that are deeper in the hole than I've dug, and it definitely gives me the direction. So, and if anybody from White's is listening, if you just make that little spot hot, it would probably be my primary pinpointer. I really, really do like the pinpointer a lot.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: if you're anywhere remotely close to the target, when you dig the target and you pull the plug out, if the TRX can't hit it either in the plug or in the ground, you're wrong. Something's wrong.
Absolutely. And in the hole is not my issue. In the hole is never the issue, because when you're pinpointing in the hole, it's automatically vertically. You're vertical in the hole. It's when I pop the target out and I'm trying to snowplow with it. I'm scraping along the dirt.
Digging them shallow targets.
Yeah. No, right. You're right. I'm digging that deep stuff, man. I'm going for the gold.
Yeah.
But anyway, so and I know I get guys all the time telling me that TRX is the absolute best pinpointer out there, best one that they've ever used. And I got to admit, I like it a lot. I really, really, really like it a lot, except when I missed that silver dime 3 or 4 times, and I got to go hiking across the field where I tossed it. Because
Well, that's the thing. There's so many out there now. You got the Garrett, you got the TRX, you've got the now the X pointer, you got the new one from Macro that's coming out.
Yeah.
You got a
I
Falcon.
mean, there's so many different ones. Everyone is going to have somebody is going to be able to use it and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like with every machine. I mean, I don't want one pinpointer out there to be, available. That's it. Or I don't want one machine. I don't want a Watts. Or I don't want a Minelab. I don't want a Garrett. I want some different machines because not every machine's going to answer the call.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, up till Garrett came out with their pinpointer, you really only had a couple to choose from. And then you had the sun rays that were directly to your detector, which was a whole different
Oh,
ballgame.
man. Those were nice.
And they run through the discrimination and everything, correct?
Everything.
Right.
But, a lot of the manufacturers have, for example, in a CTX, you can't put one on it.
No, correct. That's right.
So, it's kind of slowed the sales on those, and everyone's gone to a Garrett or one of these style of pinpointer because if you're using multiple machines, you can use this.
Yeah.
And by the same token, we're going to show you guys out there, we're going to show you actually, I think I got these for $16, a $16 pinpointer that everybody loves to laugh at on the page, and I'm going to show you where it performs at a higher rate in certain circumstances than a $100 pinpointer. So don't knock any pinpointer anybody's using out there because there's every one of these pinpointers has its good stuff. Go ahead, we got a call.
Incoming call. All right, caller, you're live.
Hello, this is Swansea Searcher from New Hampshire.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Hey, I just wanted to say I agree with Frank 100%. I think the TRX would be the boss pinpointer out there, if not for its dead zone, where it also does a ground balance if you turn it on at the ground.
Exactly. Then you're almost a touch probe where once you touch the target, it's going to ring on you. You can almost eliminate any ancillary targets in the ground. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, and that's an awesome feature. The sensitivity feature is a great feature. I know you said you love the depth that it gives you, but again, it's not supposed to be a metal detector. It's supposed to be a pinpointer.
No, exactly. You're absolutely right. But there's occasions where you may get a synergistic target where there may be more targets acting together, and it may be reading at 4 inches, and I dug my 4 or 5 inch hole, and I'm not finding it, and that's when I'll pull out the TRX just because it has that depth to let me know that it's 2 more inches below the hole that it was telling me. If it wasn't for that dead spot, it would be probably my full-time pinpointer all the time.
Oh, exactly. I agree 100%, Frank, because then I'm like you. I snowplow with my Garrett because if I dug out that hole, I can't find it in the hole, and it's somewhere in that clump I just threw aside, and it's a mass of soft dirt because I'm in a farm field. I can just lay the thing on the ground and rush it across the dirt, and it's going to tell me where it is because of the side sensitivity.
Exactly.
Well, let me throw in here what I want to see in the next pinpointer, something with discrimination.
Yeah, I can see where that's the next step. I can see where the next step is going to be some kind of discrimination. You can eliminate the iron targets without having to detune it.
That's
Right.
one of the things I was going to mention about that because once we went digging down in Mays Landing, there was a lot of iron in there.
Correct.
In there
Right.
with the targets.
You'll get into places that are full of nails, and the technology of the metal detectors are allowing you to see the coins without seeing the nails.
Right.
In a lot of cases.
Sure. Just the CTX itself, you can pull 5 or 6 targets up on your screen and circumvent the bad targets for the good, but you can't with your pinpointer.
Correct.
Right. No, that makes perfect sense, too.
Yep, thanks for your call, bud. Appreciate it.
I agree with Frank on the dead spot is what's killing it, but if they would just eliminate that dead spot technology, that would be the boss pointer, because, again, it is deep. It is sensitive, but I don't care for the not being able to, like you put it, as snow plowing through the little dirt pile you got sitting next to you, and then sitting there for half an hour trying to find the damn tire because you got to use the tip only.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, thanks for your call, bud.
And we got another caller.
There is one question I have about the white machine. I don't personally have one. I never used one. Now, I wonder if you get in there and start digging around whether you're going to have a problem like we do with the Garrett.
When I first got it, and I'm going to thanks out to Whites for getting me one. I dug. I mean, I intentionally got 2 of them right off the bat, and the reason I got 2 of them was because I had every intention of breaking the first one. The first one was for nothing but
Torture.
putting it through its paces. And you know what? The second one got given away on the show because I haven't been able to damage it. I like the setup. I like the design. I haven't really found any flaw. Is it a little fat for my hand? Yeah, okay, but I love the machine except for that one item. That one thing is the only thing that ticks me off about the machine. If it was for that, I wouldn't carry 2 pinpointers. I'd only have that one in my belt.
All right, we do have callers.
Go ahead. Let's take a call.
252, you're live.
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome to the show.
Hey, it's first time, man. Thanks. My name's Woody Parrish.
How you doing, Woody?
In North Carolina.
How are you, pal?
Yeah, I like your show, man. The pinpointer thing. I know a lot of people are mentioning Garrett's Pro Pointer. That's what I use.
Right.
Right. I enjoy mine. I know about everybody's talking about Falcon, and I have had Falcon with mine, but I've had mine in creeks, elbow deep in creeks.
Right.
So I expect a little bit of Falcon, I just cut it off and cut it back on, and it works for another hour.
Yeah, you know what? I said I've had mine accidentally strapped to the lower shaft of the machine and had it in the ocean, and once it dried out, it's still going.
That's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, 126 or 128, however much it was.
Right.
It's pretty good. I've had people tell me they're not waterproof before, and I didn't realize that because I've had mine in water.
Not waterproof.
No, they're dust resistant. They're dirt resistant. Are they water resistant? Are they classified as resistant?
Yes. No, they are not.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not sure because they do have a video on how to use it in shallow water.
Because I know that their rating is fairly close to the moisture resistance level, but I'm not sure if Garrett actually advertises it as resistant or not.
No, it's not advertised as water resistant.
Well, I live between 2 creeks, and their creeks, give it a foot of water at any given time, depending on the rain. And I've had mine in both of those creeks.
Right.
So, and mine's still working. Like I say, it beeps. It'll start beeping and just keep beeping at no target at all. But if I cut it off and cut it back on, it works for another hour.
Now, once it dries out, is it okay?
Well, yeah, it's fine. I mean, before it, not even while it's wet. I'm just, when it starts beeping, constant beeping, beep, 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 beep,
right.
beep, cut it off, cut it back on. It works fine for another 30, 45 minutes.
He might find that he's detuning it too.
Yeah, right, too. Right, you might be detuning it, right?
If you leave it on for any amount of time over, say, 3 or 4 minutes, it's going to start doing that because it's going to.
It's time to turn me off.
Part of it.
It starts to read the Earth's magnetic field or something.
People getting in the water thing. If you'll watch one of Garrett's videos when they wash it off, be sure to put they say to be sure to put your thumb over the speaker hole to keep it from moisture from getting inside. So it's not.
But look, I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate y'all's show, and it's really cool that y'all are reviewing all these because I'm learning. Like I think a lot of people are learning.
And thanks for calling in, Guy, because that's the only way we learn how you guys are feeling about this stuff is by calling in, talking to us. We appreciate you calling.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna get back and listen, and I appreciate you guys.
Cool. Thanks, man.
All
right. Okay. See you guys.
All righty.
All right. So you know what we're at.
I think we're gonna run.
Yeah, we're gonna run long. So let's tell you what. Let's take 2 minutes. Let's give something away. What'd you bring me?
Start with one of the small holes.
I told you we were going to keep it real tonight. So you can't see. So
1808.
Awesome. So we got. Don't start calling in yet, guys. We haven't announced anything.
I'm going to decline all the calls coming in until we're ready.
So we've got an 1808. Who was that?
Carolus the Fourth.
Carolus
the Fourth. Yeah.
Is it 1 or 2? It's a 1.
It's a half.
A half. So we've got a grilled, a hold, Carolus the Fourth, a half real, 1808, and we are going to give up. We aren't taking any phone call till I say go. So this is our first prize for tonight, and we will get back into the pinpointer discussion. So 856-899-5180 for the half real.
10 callers. If I lose, I'll get right back with you, Evan. All right, 908. Who we got?
Donna from New Jersey. Welcome back. Good show.
Hey, Donna.
All right, Donna.
Okay, bye-bye.
301. Who we got?
Bruce Carter, Cumberland, Maryland.
All right. 603. Who we got?
John from New Hampshire.
John from New Hampshire. 313. Who we got?
Pam Transit.
Gotcha. All right.
Thank you.
All right. 856. Who we got?
We got Nicholas Heindel from New Jersey.
All right. 614. Who we got?
Susie Wine, Columbus, Ohio.
Hey, Susie.
Gotcha. All right. How many we got left there?
I need 4 more.
4 more. 847. Who we got?
You got Craig Stryker from Illinois.
All right.
Gotcha.
301. Who we got?
This is Valerie from Southern Maryland.
All right. Valerie from Southern Maryland.
Need 2 more.
2 more?
We need 2 more.
Wow, it went quiet. Oh,
There
it goes. I was like, what happened? 603. Who we got?
You got Brandon from New Hampshire.
Hey, Brandon.
570. 570. Who we got?
You got John Mayer from Greentown, Pennsylvania.
All right, John.
All right, you're number 10.
All right, so we'll hit up random.org. You can see what it comes up with.
You got one of your Skypes up on here. That's what you're
Is
hearing.
that what I'm hearing?
There's a little battery.
Who's this?
That's Frank.
Is that you? All right, why we do random.org. I mean, we've got a bunch of pinpointers to talk about here.
Caller number 5, Nick from New Jersey. So, Nick from New Jersey, PM me, Drew, your shipping info, your Facebook, so I can get that mailed out to you, bud. Congrats.
All right.
All right, congratulations.
Well, we got calls still coming in.
Well, we better dump them just in case there's no for the contest.
Okay.
And then we'll start fresh. All right, so that contest is done, guys. So we'll have another one before night's end. But we're going to move along with the discussion of the pinpointers. And we're going to move right on to the next one of the top of what we consider to be the top 3. And that would be the Minelab ProFind. And almost the perfect all-around pinpointer. Darn close. With a couple of things. First of all, here's my biggest problem. I couldn't wait to get one, and I still use it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's a very sensitive machine. It's deeper than just about everything except for the whites. It's a deep penetrating pinpointer. 2 things I don't like about it. 2 things that bother me about it. One is this gigantic fat. I have little tiny hands, and it's no reflection on anything. I have little tiny hands, and it's kind of ergonomically awkward for me to hold it, but that's doable. I can get over that. Here's my biggest problem with the Minelab ProFind. That I am wearing gloves when I'm digging, and I'm wearing headphones when I'm digging. And it doesn't vibrate harshly enough, and it's not loud enough for me. It's fine. It's a good 2-inch pinpointer. No problem. 2 inches deep. Silver targets, maybe even a little deeper than that. But I can't feel the vibration through the gloves very well, and I can't hear it. It's not loud enough for me. Evan, what do you think about the ProFind 25?
Same thing you're saying. As far as durability, it's a good pinpointer. Sound, I can't. It's hard for me to hear sometimes, but the vibration is just not there.
Yep.
It needs to be a little louder. Its vibration needs to be a little bit stronger.
And I think
It's the light. The light on it's the brightest one in the market. I mean, you can spot like a deer with that thing.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I like the fact that where they put the push buttons on this thing, they actually built up a ridge on the frame and put the push buttons in there, so you're really not getting that flex. It's very, very durable. It's a real hard pinpointer to kill, guys. It really is. If it was just a little bit louder, they got to remember we're wearing gloves and we're wearing headphones.
Right.
I don't know, Joe. What do you think?
Well, a couple of things I can say about it. I have not seen any failures.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
I have not seen any failures in any kind of conditions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's too big.
Yeah, it's a little bulky in the hand for sure.
So the only complaints that I have are what you've already said.
But by the same token, too, one of the reasons maybe we haven't seen the failures is because it's bulky, because it's thicker, it's denser, more rigid frame.
Its molding is thicker.
Yeah.
It is going to hold up to flexing. So this may be what is needed to get rid of the falsing issues.
Exactly.
To protect it for longevity.
Yep.
And I haven't seen any wear out.
No, I mean, and honestly, when I go to grab a primary pinpointer and put in my holster, if I grab this one, I use it. If I grab the Garrett, I use it. I like the pinpointer. I find myself constantly having to pull my headphones off my head
to hear it.
That's my biggest issue with the. I mean, I can get over the fatness of it. I get it. But my biggest issue is not being able to hear it or feel the vibration of it.
All right.
That's my main one.
I've also added a caller. 814, who we got?
Jim Minelab here from PA.
Hey, Jim. What's going on, bud?
Hey, what's up? What's happening?
Nada, man. Jim Berlazio, one of our hosts, we stopped out and saw him on the way out to Idaho, and put me on a lovely spot where I dug an 1802 large cent. Thank you very much.
Very welcome, man.
You been out there? You been digging anything out in that site?
Yeah, actually, my buddy knows the supervisor, one of the supervisors up there, and he put us on more of that trail on the other side of what I showed you guys.
Oh, towards that spot that's restricted.
What's that?
Closer to that spot that's restricted.
Yeah, like all up through there. He's on the supervisor board, so he kind of like put us in there, and he said go to town, and if anybody asks any questions, just tell them to talk to me. And my buddy ended up pulling out his first bunny of corn. He pulled KG2 out of there. It's pretty crusty, but
it's awesome though, dude. That's killer. Especially,
yeah, he was going nuts.
And we're not going to go into details about where, because the site, because the site that we're talking about is an outstanding site. And if Jim can work, Jim can work a way into getting him and his crew onto that site to dig, God bless him. But we're not going to divulge it because we don't need anybody trying to get out there and sneak onto that site. But God bless you, brother. I hope you get out there and dig the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what pinpointer are you using, Jim?
I'm using a Garrett. Well, I'm on my second Garrett this year. The first one just started falling all over the place, and I ended up kind of taking it apart, and I found one of the glue blobs inside was off completely, and the wire was just flapped around there. So.
And that comes
right, and that's a wear out from the flexing and different, and tapping it and stuff like that. Yeah, that's generally the problem, and honestly, that's the issue. That once that's fixed, it's probably really nothing else to go wrong with that pinpointer.
Right, I put a touch of glue on it, and it was working just fine after that.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty much my go-to pinpointer. Between that and the Minelab, that's my go-to pinpointers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, get out there and dig up lots of good stuff. Any word on that privy pit? Any more goodies coming out of there? Besides those cadaver bones? Well, get out there and dig the hell out of that site, bro. I want to see some pictures.
All right, absolutely, man. You're welcome back anytime you want.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll be calling you.
Thanks a lot, Jim.
Yeah, anytime, man.
All right,
thanks, brother.
Hey, I had a question come in on a PM to me, and it kind of touches back to the Garrett real quick. With the speaker and where the speaker's position, there seems to be some issues with the dirt getting in the holes.
But
what is the best way now? Now, if I'm not mistaken, right underneath the plastic case is like a cloth cover, like you have on a normal speaker from your stereo.
right.
And if you poke too hard, you're going to poke. You blow right through it. So you got to be very careful.
The other problem is if you try to bang the dirt out of it, you run the risk of having these problems, these wires coming loose inside.
So what do you guys generally do to get the dirt? I use a toothpick very lightly just to get in and get the top layers of dirt out. And then I'll notice when I turn it on, the vibration from the sound in the speaker actually pushes the rest of it out.
Yeah, and honestly, with me and the Garrett, for me it's more about the vibration because I'm wearing headphones anyway. So when I think about it, I'll do the same thing. I'll use a small piece of wood or a toothpick. But honestly, it's the vibration that I pay more attention to anyway. So it vibrates enough, even through the gloves, where I really don't pay attention to it that much for the sound. But yeah, definitely. If it's mud, whatever, let it dry. Scrape it out very gently with a toothpick or something. And
I even got one a little bit better. I use a small flat screwdriver and pop the speaker cover off.
Oh, really?
Now, see, I've tried popping my speaker cover.
Don't do it right, you'll break it.
I was going to say it looked like it was going to break.
See, I didn't even know that little speaker box plate came off.
It does pop out. You just got to be careful with it when you do it. Just pop it loose, take it, and I shake it, and the dirt comes out after I let it dry.
All right.
It's wet and muddy. It's not coming out.
So where you want to go with pinpointers next?
Well, let's see.
Want to go to new stuff coming to market or hit the market?
Let's do the new stuff because with the older stuff, the lower price stuff is kind of in its own category, and we can touch on those because their value is going to come in with their price tag and their reliability. So we might as well touch with the new stuff.
Okay.
Because I know everybody's got an opinion on the new stuff.
You want to go to this?
Yeah, let's go to that.
There's that one, and there's, yeah, I think you got it in here. Yeah, it's a black one, that's all.
Okay, so these are the new ones. These are the, I can't read the names of that. The Technics, what it's called? I can't never remember the name. Okay, the Technics. And this is the X detector, is that what they call them? The X pointer? X pointer. Okay, so this is new. These are new out in the market, and I'm going to put it out there, guys. Thank you to whoever sent me one. I got an anonymous package in the mail from Southern Florida who sent me this bright yellow one to try out and put it through its paces, and I have. We'll go with that. And this is simply a black version of the same machine. So. The Technics X pointer. Let's let our guest start off. Yeah, what are you thinking, Evan? What do you think about this X pointer? I know that it comes in at a pretty good price point. And honestly, the design, which is obviously, and not stating anything that's not very, very obvious, it's very obviously similar to the Garrett. I like
the Profine.
And then Profine. And I like the fact that it has the small holes, so it eliminates a lot of the flexing. And again, at a lower price point. Now, I've used it. What do you think of it, Evan?
Personally, I like it. I've had one since. Now, when they originally come out, or when we originally found out about them in January, February, they weren't the Pulse type. They were VLF.
Right.
I didn't like them. They had issues. They were poorly designed. And over the process of about 4 or 5 months, they revamped them, changed the insides, and now they seem to be doing a lot better. Mine doesn't false. I've hunted with it quite a bit. The only thing, I have been getting reports of some, breakage and stuff like that, which, that could be related back to as many as went out in the last 4 or 5 months. You are going to have some issues, especially with the new product.
Of course you will.
In my opinion, it's strong. It's not stronger than the Garrett. But I don't know that, I don't know that makes that big a difference when you're talking a 1/8 or 1/10 of an inch, as far as it not falsing. That's great. I mean, you can torque it, you can do a lot of things, and it doesn't it doesn't fall. So I like that.
Now, Joe and I have had issues. Joe more than I, because I've been using very, very restrictive modes on my CTX 3030. But Joe, tell them about the issues that we've been having with the X pointer. Other than listen, if you want to set your detector down across the field,
right? I like to run my noise cancel at 2 because I find that noise cancel 2 and 3 actually find smaller items.
Yeah.
Under the conditions that we hunt. With it being a pulse induction, I can't have my detector within about 6-7 feet of the coil near the pinpointer. So
and we've run into that problem on the beach, just running our machines near a PI machine anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm. So you actually have to set your machine over, take your headphones off, and then go through your pile. Or shut your machine off.
Now, I've been running a very restrictive mode I wrote, which eliminates almost everything McCoy, and it still chirps through. It's still chirps, with all the noise cancellation and all the ancillary metals eliminated, it still chirps through. But that's not my issue with it. My issue with it is what we call, let's see if I can remember the term, the target range oscillation. Now, as anybody knows, you use all these pinpointers that vibrate and make noise. As you get in the general vicinity of a target, it will start to pulse. And like the Garrett, the TRX, the Profine, the closer you get to the target, the faster the pulse will oscillate. It will be quicker and quicker and quicker until it's almost a steady tone when you're on it. What I've been having trouble with this one is when I get within 2 or 3 inches of any target anywhere in my pile, it will start to chirp. But the oscillation doesn't change until I'm on it, until I'm touching it. That's when I start to get the oscillation. So it could be anywhere in a 4x4 block, and I'm not gonna notice anything until I'm actually touching the target.
Physical contact.
And that's fine. I'm glad the Priest comes in at a lower price point. But if I'm a contact pinpointer, then why am I not using a bounty hunter, which is going to do the same thing for me at a lot less money? I like the concept of the PI when it first came out, but it's interfering with my machine, and I can't get on my target as quickly as some of the other pinpointers. You guys tried these yet? What are you thinking of them?
I don't like it.
And the other thing is, it's cool that it's got the sensitivity. You can back off the sensitivity, but when you're dealing with a pinpointer that has 2 inches maximum depth, what am I backing off?
Right.
If I'm backing off to make it a contact pinpointer, then I have contact pinpointers at my disposal that I'm not paying $90 for. I like the design. It feels very strong. It doesn't flex like a lot of the other pinpointers flex, but at $90 or $100, whatever the price point is on this thing, I don't see where I'm getting a lot for it. I don't want to bash it. A lot of guys are using it. If you're having success with it, that's all that matters. That you're liking this, that you're liking it. I know you're not spending, what some of these other things are costing. Just be aware of what's out there. The jury's out for me on this piece just yet. I'm still willing to play with it and see, but as of right now, I still think it needs a little bit of tuning.
All right. The next one, I think I'm gonna bring Evan up on the full screen for it since he's got one.
Okay, cool.
You okay with that, Evan?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Let's see what you look like up there as soon as it pops up.
Good God, look at the size of that head.
It's a big head,
I'll let you talk about that one, Evan.
Well, jury's still out on this one. This is the macro. It's got, I don't have all the stuff with me right here, but it's got the replaceable tip. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Oh, cool.
This is the one with the knife blade. This will be perfect for you, Frank.
Yeah, for Snowplow.
Scrape to your heart's content. Couple things is they changed the design. Of course, you don't have any buttons to where you can hit them while you're pinpointing or anything. But the thing that sets this apart from all the others is it being waterproof.
Yeah.
And they changed the button where it's sealed. I don't know if you can see this, but it has metal contacts here and here, and it actually keeps this little red seal here, keeps this water from getting in there. So the speaker is also waterproof, and it's a waterproof speaker. And if you'll look, it's just a hole there. Now, when you're pinpointing with it and you're underwater with it, if that hole gets full of water, just shake it out because it will cut off the sound to it.
Right.
Other than that, you can feel the vibration. It's pretty strong. Has a pretty good light on it. Has sensitivity settings, plus or minus, the green being hot and the red being, less. So far, so good. I hadn't had any issues with it. I did a 15-minute test at 1.5 feet. No issues whatsoever.
Is this VLF, Evan?
Yes. And I think it's the frequency's around 11, or 11.2, somewhere in there. I did test it against the CTX, the AT Gold, and the DAS, and I did not get any EMI off of either one.
Right.
So that was a good thing. So so far so good.
When are they thinking for product release?
We're looking around November 1st.
Ah, cool beans.
And it retails right around the same price as the Garrett.
Right. Now I said November 1st. That may be incorrect.
No, you're close.
I think that's right. I should have said mid-November, but we could see it as early as November 1st. So
that would be awesome. I'm looking forward to trying it. I'm hearing good things about it. I can't wait to give it a shot.
Well, it's definitely something different. It will take you some getting used to.
Right.
I've caught myself trying to push the button and it's not there, so, and to turn it on, it's a quick, that's my computer setting it off, but quick press to get it to turn on, but to turn it off, it's the same button.
Oh, okay.
And it takes a little bit. You have to wait for those quick, high-pitched chirps.
Like the TRX kind of. You got to hold it on to shut her off.
Yes.
And what is this one called again?
This is the macro pointer.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Yep.
It's probably pretty bright. But anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. It comes in a really cool case. I know that doesn't amount to detecting, but the case is pretty slick. Being able to change the tips is also nice. So.
Well,
changing the tips. What are the alternatives to the bladed tip?
It's a smooth design, kind of like what you got on the Garrett or what you have on the Profind or the X-Pointer. It's just a smooth. So I don't have it here. Everything's in the garage right now. But.
Well, just keep us updated on it when that thing's ready for release, because I'm definitely looking forward to trying that machine out.
We'll definitely let you know as soon as it comes out. So far, I haven't heard anything back from the other testers. There's several of these out there all over the U.S., and I think it's been released to test over in Australia too in the Goldfield. So, be kind of curious to see how it reacts to the hot soil over there.
Yeah, and a low frequency target like gold. It'd be awesome to check that out.
Right. So, unfortunately, I don't dig a lot of gold. But
come on, they got gold down there someplace.
Yeah, not big enough to dig. You really have to pan it here and wear a good set of glasses.
Well, also they have a YouTube video on the operation and more information. I'll get that to you.
Yeah, we can post it on the page
on the site later.
Yep. And actually, if we come across them, since we are, showing the good points and the bad points of all these things, maybe I'll sit down and put the links to every one of these things up there so people can have a chance to go and look at them from the manufacturer's perspective and through their paces.
Hey Evan, have you done or do you plan to do a video review?
I did a sort of a review when I first got the machine or first got the Pinpointer. I will post a link to the page. I think I've already posted it on there. It kind of showed the basic operation how to turn it on, the different settings and everything. The waterproof, it's got a waterproof rating, I think, of IP67, which is 30 minutes at 3 feet or 1 meter. I will get that posted up here pretty quick. I'll jump on YouTube and grab it.
Cool. Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for showing us that, because I'm looking forward to that machine. I'm anything new and waterproof. I'm looking forward to playing, especially
Exactly.
for getting
I think most of the newer machines that are going to be coming are probably going to be either touching on the lightweight or the waterproof aspect of
for
the
sure.
tech. And whether or not you need it or not, it's just going to be a durability type thing, to keep the machine.
Like I said, even if you never get it wet, when you have an IP rating that high, it's going to speak directly to the durability of that unit, no matter what. Even if it just dries, it's going to be a more rigid, a more durable machine. Period.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna drop you out so you can not look so big-headed on our screen.
All right, so from there we move on to everybody's starter pinpointers, and everybody knows them. And we've got the bounty hunter slash Fisher pinpointer. We've got the ultra slick and slim Centec handheld, and we have everybody's standard that everybody's grew up with was the bounty hunter. The Bullseye 2 by Whites. Now, we're going to skim over the Bullseye 2 pretty quick, simply because we discussed it fairly at length. It is what it is. It was an early addition to this type of pinpointer, this basic design of pinpointer. It is not quite a contact detector,
real close,
but real darn close to it. And in this generation that we are moving, up and away with these new VLFs and PI pinpointers, when you're talking about, $16, guys, $16 to $19 for the Centec. It's not waterproof. I'm not even sure it's real dustproof. Has a case, but you're talking about the same general design. You're talking about, in certain circumstances, us getting better depth out of the Centec. They are what they are. Okay. If you're starting off, if you're just coming into the hobby and you're not looking to spend, listen, there's a lot of people that come out there and buy a machine and don't really want to spend another $125, $135 on a pinpointer. Listen, it will absolutely do what it's supposed to do. And even these anymore, these have come down in price, the Bullseyes.
Well, the Bullseye used to be a $100 pinpointer.
Yeah, absolutely. They've come down in price. They are probably more durable, a little bit more rugged than you're talking about the Centec. But honestly, from White's standpoint, White's has moved on. White's has definitely moved on to a much higher grade pinpointer. And I'm expecting that these are going to probably become harder and harder to even find anymore. I mean, are they still making the Bullseye 2?
You're going to find them used.
Yeah, for sure used. And listen, at that point in time, you're definitely hunting for the price.
We got a call coming in.
Okay, bring caller in.
All right, add into the group. Welcome, caller. Unknown phone number. I guess you didn't want to talk. They decided not to.
The Harbor Freight Centec. Aren't there issues with the button on that a lot though?
Yeah, here's the thing with the Centec. The Centec absolutely,
it's a $20 pinpointer.
It's not made to do what we do. Okay, let's be honest with you. They changed the name to handheld metal detector from years ago, where it was nail finder. It was a nail finder, stud finder, a nail finder, not stud finder. And so it comes in the leather case, and it's made to do exactly that. Does it work in the dirt? Absolutely works in dirt. Our buddy Vince, who's part of the group, used this up until recently, and it pinpoints. I mean, you're talking. It's a squelch-based pinpointer, and it works. Is it going to be as durable? It's not even going to be as durable as the Bullseye, but it's also $16 to $20. So if you're just starting off and you want something to help you find a target in the hole, and on your silver target, if you're digging silver, you're getting an inch. You're going to get an inch. That's gold.
We've got a caller.
Okay, caller.
Hi, I was just wondering about the White's Bullseye 2, which is I've had problems with it in the past.
Yeah, we're talking about the Bullseye 2 now, and I hate to put down a pinpointer that's really no longer in the running anymore. White's has moved on to the TRX, which is a fine pinpointer. The Bullseye 2 is a basic squelch-based VLF direct-to-metal pinpointer. It's going. The problem with this is, if you are looking for stuff in the hole, this is almost a contact pinpointer. You're almost going to have to touch your target in order to get a response from it.
Yeah.
What's the price point roughly on these things now, Joe?
I don't even know.
The last I saw one, they were about $60. And we were comparing them to the Harbor Freight Centec, which they're very similar in design. And in fact, we just did a real quick test on the silver coin in that bucket up front, and we actually got more distance out of the Centec. But I'm not going to bash White's, because White's new pinpointer is very, very, very good. So just let people know that this thing is out there. In my opinion, it's a backup in your bag. I wouldn't, for the $30 more you'd have to spend for a better pinpointer, it's probably going to be worth it to you. Not a ton of bad things to say about the Bullseye 2, just not a ton of good things to say about the Bullseye 2.
Around for a long
yeah,
time.
it was the standard. Listen, when it came out, it was like unbelievable, because it was the first of its kind. It was just a matter of time until it developed into what it is now, which is the TRX. So if you have one, I understand a lot of people have frustration with the Bullseye 2. But if you are looking to replace your pinpointer with a new one, you step up into the Garrett, the Whites, the new Whites, the Minelab Profine. It's just not something I would be replenishing in my bag. That's all.
Okay.
What kind of issues were you having with your Bullseye?
Right. I haven't used the thing in a couple months now. The problem is that the plastic tip, I've worn the thing down to where you can see the innards of it.
Yeah, that's.
Got some use out of it.
And I got news for you. That's not just the Bullseye 2. There's several companies, several pinpointers out there that will do that to you. But when that happens with this type of pinpointer, which is similar to this type of pinpointer, the Centec, when that happens, you're pretty much done. You're going to be susceptible to any type of moisture that gets in there is going to start this thing falsing. Any kind of corrosion that develops on these are unshielded wrapped wires around a metal. It's basically a very mild electromagnet, and any type of moisture is going to start to corrode it immediately, and it's done. It's finished. You can't fix that. It'll be time to move on to a new pinpointer.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks for your call, bud.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Let's try this again. I can't get this unknown callers in with us. I don't know why.
Maybe from one other side of the pond.
It could be. It could be one of the troubles we're having from the overseas callers.
They've called several times, and I've tried to get them in. It won't bring them in. But,
Yeah, I've gotten a couple messages. For some reason, certain cell carriers have issues with the call-in number, and I don't know what it is.
1-856-899-5180.
No, I know what the number is. I don't know what the problem is with the cell carriers.
All right, so that being said, guys, we've kind of worked our way through the pinpointers, and I'm going to I'm saving the bounty hunter / fisher for last. Everybody knows this pinpointer. It's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And again, a squelch-based pinpointer, but no two ways about it. This is a near-contact pinpointer. It was designed that way. The nice thing that I like about in comparison to like a Centec or even the Bullseye 2, I get more range out of this than either one of those. It's more durable by a long shot than the Centec, and you really can't kill them. I mean, I tell you, they last a long time. Everybody just about everybody who's gone into this hobby has started off with one of these. And you know what? For the price that they come in at, for as long as they last you, for as durable as they are, I've got guys that these buttons are hanging off and they still turn on. They set the squelch, and this thing is still pinpointing.
All right, let's see if we can get this caller in this time. Let's try again. Welcome, caller. Got him in this time.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, you guys have any problems hearing me?
No, I can hear you. Where you call from?
I'm out of Oklahoma.
Awesome. Awesome. Welcome to the show. What can we do for you?
You guys are talking about the pinpointers.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you did this specific pinpointer just to find gold.
You're using your pinpointer just to find gold? We lost him.
We lost him. And he hung up.
I'm not sure if he was telling us that he used it, or he was wondering if he can use it just to find gold. We were just talking about that simply because gold is a kind of a low response frequency metal, and that's a good question. We'd love to know more about that. If you're digging for gold, if these things are sensitive enough to pull them out of a pile, whether it's flakes or not. I don't know. I haven't done any testing in that regard. But I'd be interested to see if any of that comes up. But going back to the Fisher, if you are just starting out in metal detecting and you're gearing up with your first detector, your first pinpointer, really not a bad little pinpointer to start off with. You're not going to break it. It's going to take a beating. It is not going to respond in the same respects as the higher priced units that we were showing you. But you will find the target in the hole. You will get an inch of range out of it, which is better than a lot of the cheaper units, and it's going to last you. It's hard to kill. I've seen the backs pop off. I've seen them get packed with dirt. I've seen them blown out and turn them on, and they still work. So for the price point, I got news for you. Every one of these pinpointers except for one came out of my bag, and this one is in my bag as a backup as well.
Let's see what Evan has to say.
Go ahead, Evan. What do you think about the Bounty Hunter Fisher?
Well, I had to go I had to be muted because of the phone call that came in. The guy was asking about detecting with gold, and I don't know if y'all touched on it.
No, we didn't. I really couldn't understand him.
Well, if he's asking about, will these pinpointers pick up gold? Probably not the smaller gold, but there is one that will. And unfortunately, I don't have one, but it's called a Falcon. You can Google it. It will detect very, very, very small gold.
Now, is that BLF or PI?
To be honest with you, Frank, I've only seen it in operation. I don't know.
Well, we'll look it up for sure.
I was going to say, if I had to take a guess, I would have to say it's a pulse.
Yeah.
It's probably, but it's called the Falcon. I don't know the company that makes it, but I've seen it detect, needlehead size gold. It uses, when you go to pinpoint with it, it'll give a positive response for gold and a negative tone for anything else. So it's pretty accurate. I was impressed with it, but that's something he may look into. It's called a Falcon.
Was that is it designed for that? Is it a handheld gold detector?
It's designed for gold. Matter of fact, I will see if I can find.
Actually, I'm looking it up right now.
Falcon Gold Probe. MD20 is the name. Is the model number.
Yep.
They're a little expensive, but if you've ever seen one of these in operation, I saw one at the Gold Prospecting Show, and I was very impressed with it.
Well, listen, if you're digging with a full size PI machine and you're hucking out stuff out of a river or whatever, I can see what a great tool to have going through some of the muck you're mucking out to find the small gold.
Well,
yeah, it has extensions where you can extend it down into the water, and I was impressed with it.
That's cool.
It picked up some gold that the pulse machines wouldn't pick up. It's really tiny. I can't remember the mesh size, but it was very small.
Yeah, it says its operating frequency is 300 kilohertz. Wow.
That's low.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's something he could look into. It's expensive, but it will pick up gold for sure.
Well, Okay, guys, so we pretty much made it through our pinpointers. We're not bashing anybody's pinpoint. Every pinpointer on this table has high spots and has shortcomings. Even down to the $16 Centec, which has beaten in depth a couple of the other pinpointers. Everything has its purpose, and like Evan was saying, you know what? That's what makes the world go round. There's a lot of different factors that go into your pinpointer. There's different things that you may like about how the machine feels in your hand. The depth. A lot of guys don't like the depth. A lot of guys love to detect contact pinpointing. I don't, but I know guys that use the Fisher Bounty Hunter just because it's a sensitive contact pinpointer. So you see guys on the page telling you this pinpointer is the absolute best. I love it, and there's no other. It's just not the case. You have to do your research, educate yourself, go into your local shops, pick them up, feel what they feel like. These guys will throw coins in front of it and let you get an idea of what you're talking about and make an educated decision. Believe it or not, I know price is a big factor. Times are tough and price is a factor. It can't be the only factor when you're buying a piece of machinery that you want to last you a few years. Definitely do your homework.
You know, I look at it this way: if you're going to buy something like that, you buy what you can afford and what you like.
Well, listen, $130 pinpointer is a lot cheaper than buying a $50 pinpointer 10 times.
Right.
Exactly. So just do your homework. Now, before we wind this up, first of all, we're going to give away one more coin before we go, and we want to say thanks to Evan for coming on tonight with us and giving us his opinion on some of these pinpointers. Evan, we know we will talk to you very soon in the future, and we will have you on again.
No problem.
And thanks for being with us tonight, bud.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you, Evan.
See ya.
All right, so we are going to close out the night with a
1799 Carolus IV, 2 real.
1799 Carolus IV 2 real silver coin.
Oh well, before you do that, we have a special going on.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Before I forget, we have our buddy here, Joe DeMarco, has a shop who is giving our members a deal as we go into the holidays. Joe's got deals coming.
It's only going to be those that are actually watching live because they're going to see it up here on the screen.
This is for you tuning into the show tonight.
We can't see it. I can't see it on the screen.
Oh, it's up behind us.
No, the glare.
Ah.
Ooh.
Well, that's okay because it's going to change.
Pay attention to your screens.
Still can't see them.
I know it's blaring on mine too.
Yeah. Now you should be able to see it.
Nope. The glare is the way the camera angle is.
Really?
Yeah, the bright white background is blocking it out.
Well, just tell them what it is.
Oh, okay.
All right, we'll tell you. So I guess you guys listening on 1,000 Bikes are lucking out tonight. So guys, jot this down. This is the code for what, Joe?
Save $50 off any order over 600. Anything over 600.
So you guys are looking for metal detectors or detecting package for Christmas, whatever. This is a $50 off. And
use the coupon code 50 please. Capital please. That's 50, capital P, capital L, capital E, capital A, capital S, capital E. And you'll see what your saving is when you enter that in the cart.
Awesome. Awesome. So big thanks out to DeMarco Detector Sales and MetalDetecting.com for that. And it's coming to that time of the year, guys. So start cashing in your coupons and your coupon codes.
All right. How many callers?
10. Yeah, do 10 callers for the $18.99, $17.99, 2 real.
717. Who we got?
Scott Miller from Redline.
Scott Miller, I got you.
814. Who we got?
Sean Showalter.
Gotcha.
610. Who we got?
TJ Carroll from South Coventry, PA.
Gotcha.
215. Who we got?
Donna from Pottstown, PA.
Gotcha.
301. Who we got?
Valerie from Suffolk, Maryland.
Gotcha.
We got, here we go, 856. Who we got?
Hank in Pimlico, New Jersey.
Gotcha.
All right.
709. Who we got?
Pernell from Newfoundland.
From Newfoundland.
Wow,
Awesome.
Newfoundland. That's
What was
great.
the first name?
Pernell. P-E-R.
Well, welcome,
N-E-L-L.
welcome. Fantastic.
All right, I got
Thank
you. 580, who we got?
This is Roger Gregory, Oklahoma.
Got you, Roger. How many more? Two more. 603, who we got?
You got Brandon from New Hampshire.
Brandon from New Hampshire. Gotcha. 570, who we got?
You got John from Greentown, Pennsylvania.
All
John,
right, and that
you
is-
are number 10 again.
All right, we've got our 10 callers. We're going to shut them down.
Drew will hit up random.org and we will pick a winner for the $17.99 2 real. And while he's doing that, guys, hit us up with this was great. We had a lot of people on the page the past couple of weeks while me and Drew were gone, talking about pinpointers, complaining about some of the stuff, why they're happy, and that's why we did the show tonight. Tell us about what you want the shows to be about. That's why we're here, and we'll attack that issue. We got guests coming on in the future. I'll name them. I got to make contact with a couple of them this week, and so we got some big shows coming up. But hit us up on the pages and let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll go do the legwork and make it ready for you, and we'll attack those issues on the show. So Drew is spinning that random.org wheel.
What number is that?
It's number 10.
No, it's not.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong line.
You're looking at 1 through 10.
Yeah.
What number
Number
is that?
7.
What number? Who's number 7?
And guess what? We're sending that coin out to Newfoundland.
Cool.
Hey,
Pernell from Newfoundland, congratulations on winning that 2 real coin, bud. And it was great to hear you calling in.
I need you to PM me, Drew Waholic, through Facebook. So I need your shipping address so I can get that out to you. You want to take any more calls in?
Yeah, might as well, as long as they're not for the coin.
All right. Welcome, Brad.
Brad was electrocuted.
Welcome to the show. Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
Take the next caller.
Oh,
It don't sound good.
all right, let's go to the next caller.
That don't sound good.
313, who we
Sure, Brad, look
got?
to there.
Welcome to the
I
show.
don't think we want to know.
Pam, I want you to do a show on reading the old maps from the library.
Well, you know what? That's an awesome
Research.
suggestion, and we actually have a couple guys that do some amazing overlay reading. We may have to get Brandon and those guys on. But that's a
I'd
great
appreciate it.
It's a great topic, and that topic is absolutely coming up.
Thank you.
And Steve McAvoy wants to do another Detective Pizza before it gets too cold.
Steve McAvoy, I think he just likes the pizza, I think. All right, guys, so that's going to pretty much wrap it up for tonight. The response was awesome. We went a little bit long, hour and 42 minutes. But thanks for everybody that called in. We even touched out to Newfoundland tonight, which was awesome.
Hey, and don't forget, you can PM us with questions you have.
Absolutely.
And post your questions on the page. There's a ton of people that have
And
a ton of experience out there.
And we have a little segment we do occasionally called Newbie Corner. PM me the questions, post them to the page. If you'd rather PM them to me or Drew, you'll remain anonymous. I know some of the guys don't like to ask questions because they feel like they're going to be, made fun of. Listen, if you got that question in your head, there's 50 people that have that same question in your head. Don't be afraid to ask it. That's the only way you're going to get the answer and learn what mistakes you're making or what mistakes you're not making. So definitely hit us up with those questions, and we'll always try and address them for you. And if we don't know the answer, we know people that do. So that being said, we are going to wrap up tonight's show. And guys, thank you so much for coming. The Brandon, the Dr. Tones, and Dirtfish in America video will be repieced together. I will put it back on the page probably Tuesday night because we'll be testing out the Tuesday night live feed. We'll see how that works out. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye!